Good afternoon, everyone. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Okay, we're just going to wait for a couple more participants and then we'll start up. Okay, I'll start. So welcome to this afternoon's webinar on Cegid Retail Live Store, the key to a seamless customer experience in store. I'm Sam Watson. I've been with Cegid for about 9 or 10 years now, working as a pre-sales consultant, and before that, a consultant deploying our solutions around the world. Today, we will have a quick look at the challenges across the retail market around the world. And then I'll give you a quick introduction to Cegid Retail Live Store and a special focus on sort of bringing the online in store and elevating your retail experience. And then at the end, we'll have some time for a few questions. If you have questions while we're going along, don't hesitate to put them in. There should be a question option that you have on the webinar. So don't hesitate to put any questions in there as we go along, and we'll have time to answer those at the end. So if we start by looking at the sort of challenges across the retail market at the moment, I thought it was maybe appropriate to ask ChatGPT the question and get his or her opinion on things. Obviously, AI is a big topic right now for all of us, and it's something we'll talk about a little bit later on. But ChatGPT gave me this answer. So in 2024, the adoption of mobile solutions is no longer an option, but a necessity for retailers concerned with meeting the demands of connected consumers and staying competitive in an ever-evolving omni-channel landscape. We'll go a little bit further into it and dive a little bit deeper into things in terms of the challenges we're all facing. I think the key challenges, if we sort of divide them up, first of all, around sort of maintaining margin and profitability. So how do we boost the average basket value, conversion rate in store, so making sure that we convert people in store into sales, declining store traffic, declining consumer spending, the move to online, obviously in economic slowdown, inflation, and the impact that has on margins and profitability. We have an ever-evolving, more demanding and more volatile customer and consumer base. Customers are now looking for a sort of augmented, seamless, hyper-personalized shopping experience in store. And a retail study in 2022 by Adyen looked at this and found that 61% of consumers would be more loyal to a retailer than to buy online and return in store. But currently only 23% of retailers actually offer this. The third challenge is sort of an HR type challenge, so difficulties in recruitment and in-store engagement. So tackling employee training, brand ambassadors, and ensuring that we have operational efficiency in store and in-store users that are loyal and that represent your brand. and 90% of fashion executives currently see a skill shortage in their organizations. So that's obviously a key topic. And the last sort of challenge is more around sort of cyber attacks and the technological challenges we face. So regulatory pressures, cyber attacks, technical concerns, security concerns, making sure that we have a compliant IS that's quick to move into when we have regulational changes, fiscal changes to personal data laws, that sort of thing. And the risk of operational disruption, obviously, for IS systems regarding cyber criminals, with retail being the #1 target in the State of Ransomware report, facing more data breaches than any other business sector. We want to look at then how do we sort of face these challenges and how do we elevate your retail experience. So our mission at Cegid is to help you boost your profitability, engage your customers and your employees all around the world. And that's sort of, we've divided that up into 3 different axes. The first being elevating your profitability, so boosting your omnichannel sales, streamlining that in-store productivity and product availability, and doing that all around the world. The idea being that we boost your omnichannel sales, multiply and capture all sales opportunities by offering omnichannel services to customers, thanks to a sort of online-offline convergence. Increase the in-store productivity, so give your sales associates the tools and real-time information, so inventory, products, customers, orders, etc., to never miss a sale. Eliminate irritants in the store, make sure everything's streamlined and facilitate as much as possible to better serve the customer, and also manage the back office tasks in store more efficiently and quickly, which is sort of a virtuous circle. When everything works in back office, everything works in front office. Optimizing your product availability as well, so having an accurate, reliable, and real-time view of inventory. So centralized data in real time, easier inventories, better management of operations, efficient orchestration of web orders, that sort of thing. And improve the sort of performance monitoring as well. So having dashboards available to make better decisions, gaining reactivity at headquarters, but also at store level. The second point is around elevating your engagement. So this applies to your in-store associates and also to your customers. So making sure we deliver a personalized omnichannel customer experience across all touch points, ensuring that you get a premium experience for customers, streamlining their journey, whether it's omnichannel, in-store, and increasing the advice you can give them, personalized services offered by your in-store teams. And how do we do this? Well, we do this through your in-store team. So empowering your sales associates, giving them the tools they need to be more efficient, enabling them to be champions of your customer relations and of your brand, equipping them with mobile solutions so that they have the tools and information to succeed in their different roles, and then an easy-to-use solution, so minimal training and available on any device, so rapid adoption type thing. And then obviously facilitating recruitment, onboarding, and engaging your staff as well, so making sure that communication between headquarters and stores is good, keeping your store teams trained, inspired, engaged, and a community of brand ambassadors to support those customer relationships. The third point is around elevating your confidence. So here we're talking more about your IT system, your security, your IT team, ensuring that your IS and IT partner have greater security, resilience, and compliance across the world. So taking advantage of the cloud infrastructures, the SaaS infrastructures, to make sure that we increase levels of security, better protect your IT system from cyber attacks. Ensure compliance worldwide as well, so connectivity, extensibility, and compliance across the world, meaning that you comply with local legislation, taxation, local practices, and having an open and extensible solution that can quickly integrate with other third-party solutions on the market, and adapt quickly as well to new market needs. So we're never far away from a change in regulation or from a change in fiscalization around the world. And then reinforcing trust in your IT partner as well. So having a partner dedicated to the retail sector and to a sustainable international and digital retail ecosystem. Focusing on your core business, which is obviously serving your customers. In order to do this, I'm going to present Cegid Retail Live Store. So this is our progressive web app. It's a web app that works irrespective of the device that you're using it. So it can be used on a fixed POS, on a tablet, on a smartphone, whether that's on Windows, Android, or iOS. And it looks to address the main commercial challenges that we've just spoken about, and hopefully provides that unique experience across fixed and mobile, but it's one single application. So one single application that represents your brand, that has your brand colors, images, logos, and provides an engaging experience for your in-store teams, but also a very coherent experience across the different devices. So whether you're on a fixed POS or a tablet or a mobile, it's the same application, it's the same training and user adoption across the different devices. In terms of the principles of characteristics, we obviously look to sort of to fulfill as many scenarios as possible in store, whether that's a queue busting type option where sales associates may roam around the stores, engaging with customers, building baskets, transferring baskets between different devices across mobile devices, and maybe transferring to a fixed POS to complete sales. It may be a full sales transaction, so either on a fixed or mobile device, completing the sales transaction from start to finish, giving your customers a 360 view of your products, your product information, your stock, the customer information, engaging with them, understanding who they are, why they've come into store, whether they've shopped with you before, providing all that information, and completing a sale. And it may also be click and collect or your reservations or ship from store type scenarios, the different e-commerce type scenarios, and maybe blending those in a mixed basket with a full sales type transaction. The idea is to offer a seamless customer experience. So whether you're on in store, whether you're online, we give you the same experience across the different touch points, and connect into the Y2 loyalty, promotions, tax engines that you're used to using across the front office and back office. Also providing an e-receipt or connection to peripherals at the end of the transaction to pay or to print a receipt, or to deliver that as frequently as possible via e-receipt straight into a customer inbox. So they have the receipt readily available, and so they can use that if there's a return or something to come back into store with, or if they need to consult it, they can have it easily on their smartphone. It's one single and responsive set of apps on any device. So whether we are across an Android type tablet, an iOS smartphone, an iPhone, a fixed POS, it's the same application. It sort of responds to and adapts to your branding requirements. So you can set it up to respect your colors, your color palette, your branding, your images, and actually do that right down to device level. So you can, if you have a seasonal offers or pop-up stores and you need to rebrand or change, or you're managing multiple brands for a group, you can brand the devices as required. It's independent of the Y2 core upgrades, and I'll talk a little bit around how that works later on. And it's easy to install. It's a progressive web app, so it just runs on a URL, although you can download it as an application onto the device, which means it's really quick to run, quick to load, and quick to sort of train your users on as well. It's an easy to use application. I'll take you through a few scenarios now around the use of the application. The first is around an omni-channel type scenario where we want to simplify these journeys in store and the services that we can provide to your customers. So the first scenario here is a reservation request that we're making in store, where we're looking for an item. So we type in some information maybe around the item, and we'll search based on that. Search based on any of this information at item level, whether it's category, description, barcode, etc. Select a size and a color, and at this point we're going to get some more information around the item, stock, to take away today, or pick up in store, home deliver, etc. We'll add in a customer to the transaction, so we add in search by customer by name, phone, email, or any other information. We get a quick summary of that customer and the reservation. Go back to the home screen here, and then we can, when validate, move through to payment. Here we can connect to an EFT or a payment terminal, save the receipt. At this point, we save the receipt in the database. We can then email or print the receipt and effectively go back to the start. All we've done there is made that as a reservation request. Okay, the customer's paid a deposit, but that's configurable, but it's paid a deposit on that item. And then in a second store, maybe we're going to check that e-reservation and accept it on behalf of the customer and make the item available for the customer to come in. So you can see here in the store, I can see the list of available e-reservations I need to check. Here I have the e-reservation from Kevin, and I can accept, refuse, or add straight into cart. When I accept it, you'll see the reserved in store status is updated here. And then effectively I can go from there and add it straight into cart. Assuming your customers are more and more demanding and are maybe standing outside the store on their mobile, creating a new reservation or a click and collect type order and expecting to walk into the store 3, 4, 5 minutes later and pick up the item, you can add straight to basket. So you don't have to go through the full process of accepting, putting to one side, etc. You can skip those steps and add straight into basket. But for a more traditional click and collect reservation type scenario, we'd expect to update those statuses. So we move from requested in store to reserved in store, push those statuses to web or to backend to notify that customer before the customer comes in to pick up. If I go to the reservation pickup here on the right hand side, you'll see that in the second store, I type in my customer name when the customer comes in, or scan or search for the customer. When I load up that customer and add to the basket, I have a notification here to say that this customer is eligible for the loyalty program, but also they have an e-reservation that's reserved in store. So I put it to one side. I can add that straight into my cart from here. And then once that's in my cart, I can potentially add other items, upsell, cross-sell, or simply validate the transaction. If I validate, you see I have the deposit already paid. There's no need to do any payment. It's all come through from online. I just need to save the receipt and I can email that to the customer or go back to the start and start with another customer. So a really simple, easy type of e-commerce type scenario, moving from a reservation request to a acceptance of that reservation request to a pickup at the end. The second scenario I'll talk to you about very briefly is the sort of customer experience. So trying to offer more services to your customers, making the most of each and every different sales opportunity, and having that real-time information, whether that's available e-reservations like we've just seen, whether that's customer data, whether that's stock data, to make sure you're as responsive and as available to customers as you can be. At the bottom of the screen here, you can see a few examples of this sort of customer experience where we have a customer timeline, for example, with a list of customer sales on the left-hand side there. It's a blended list of in-store sales, omni-channel type sales, reservations, orders, each with a separate status, with the option to reprint receipts from here, manage tax-free type requests, so issue or cancel tax-free from here, and manage as well those omni-type scenarios where you might want to add into cart or accept or refuse e-reservations, click and collect, that sort of thing. You can also return straight from these transactions as well, so you can click on the 3 dots next to the transaction, click to return, and then we'll go through that return process and we guide the user through that, so offering that sort of experience where we guide through the original transaction, take the items we need, ask for return reasons and that sort of thing, and then move through into a reimbursement or a credit note or whatever it might be. The customer profile is nicely laid out with full information around the customer, configurable in terms of what you want to add, a quick link to the timeline, loyalty, data collection, so you can get the information you maybe need around the customer, engage with those customers when they're in store, and then move through a smooth transaction or sales process. On the right-hand side, you can see the different sales screens with, on the far right-hand side, a simple transaction with a couple of items added to basket and some discounts. And second from the right, a transaction where we've got a mixed basket. So one item we're delivering to a customer home, and at the bottom of the screen, a buy now type transaction. Again, with some discounts, but as far as the customer is concerned, it's one single transaction, irrespective of the fact that it's a mixed basket. They just need to pay once, and when we fulfill and deal with the rest behind the scenes. The third point here I wanted to mention is around payment. So giving your customers an enhanced customer experience, optimizing the sales space, so making sure that in store it works nicely with the layout of the store, not having these sort of things on display, and also being able to check out customers anywhere in store. Customers, I think, are more and more demanding in terms of the payment needs, and buy now, pay later, pay by link, tap to pay. Those are the sort of things we see more and more of. Here I'm going to show you a quick example of a buy now, pay later type option. So this is with Klarna. Again, we'll go through a very simple transaction here. We're just going to find some shoes and add them into the basket. So a very simple transaction, add to the basket, and then I'm going to go through to the payment screen. Okay. At this point, I've got a list of configurable payment methods, one of which is Klarna, and I can select to use the Klarna terminal that I have here on the screen, which means I'll just send this through the Klarna APIs. At this point, I click to finish the transaction, and I'm going to select how I want to send this link to the customer for them to pay. So it might be they scan a QR code, you may send them a text. Here I'm going to just select to do the email address option. So I'll send the customer a quick email with the link to pay. So this could also work for a remote payment. And you can see on the right-hand side here, we have the customer phone. So the customer's received their email. They're going to click on the link. And as I said, this might be a QR code or an SMS if you're doing it in store. But here I have the link. I can choose to pay in 3 different installments, pay now, pay up front, pay all of it in 3 months' time, whatever it might be, depending on the options available. Enter in my card details, accept terms and conditions, and click to pay. So I'm paying 25 euros today and 75 over the next sort of 2 months or so. And you can see we send back that acceptance back to the POS, validate the transaction, and move through to the end of the transaction. So a really simple example there, but the sort of thing that we can do with connectors with Klarna or Alma or others that manage multiple payments for you and for your customers. The fourth option I wanted to talk about was the convenience and speed. So you may see mobile devices as a full checkout and a full POS, but it may also be the sort of thing, depending on your store and the items or products that you're selling, but that you want to use to save time, to streamline processes, to avoid queues, maybe around festive season or around holidays where you have more people in store. It may also be the sort of option you want when you have specific sales people out to parts of your store, so someone on ready to wear, someone on shoes, for example, and you can pass a transaction from one to another, or pass a transaction over where a customer goes to try on an item, whatever it might be. In this case, you can start to create a basket with the sales associate. So the sales associate will build a basket. We may add a customer to that basket. We may add discounts, add different items in, and we'll get to a point where, let's say you want to move it to another sales associate. You'd like to move it to a fixed POS. You maybe take cash on a fixed POS and card on mobile, and the customer wants to pay in cash. Whatever the reasons are, you then want to pass it on and pick it up on a fixed POS. For that here, you can see we have the option to recover a receipt. So we can go and pick up that transaction we put on hold, load that receipt up, and then continue and validate that sale. So it's a really simple way of just picking up a receipt that's already on hold. We can do this through the customer. You can do this just through the receipt on hold option. It's a really quick one, but again, it just allows you to save time. You browse around the store with the customer, and you can see on the 2 mobile device screens on the bottom of the screen, you've got basket creation and the receipt just being put on hold, potentially with a comment or an explanation of why it's gone on hold. It may be because the customer's coming back later in the day. It may be to pay with cash, as I said earlier. It may be just to pass it off to another sales associate. And then, as I said, when you pick it up, you can go through the customer and pick up any receipts on hold on their timeline. You'll get a notification, or you can just browse receipts on hold and pick them up. No need to delete them or do anything with them. They will disappear at the end of the day, but they're there to be used during the day. The 5th option available is sort of around engagement, and the 5th thing I want to talk about is around engagement. So using mobile applications to engage and retain customers, and as well as that to engage and retain in-store staff. So lots of different ways we can do that in terms of across the mobile devices. It may be sort of loyalty programs, different payment methods, like gift cards, that sort of thing. Data collection that I mentioned earlier in terms of getting customer data and taking and really engaging with customers, so you understand who they are, why they've come in, what they're looking for, how they're shopping, that sort of thing, before starting that customer journey with them. In terms of the product development, we have a sort of new product development method that we're using with LiveStore and actually across all of our core applications now, which is the SAFe methodology, so Scale Agile Framework. This gives us really good visibility of the goals that we have over the next couple of months. So we have an ongoing backlog and roadmap, and then we prioritize these in sort of 2 monthly increments, and then all of our teams are aligned on these common goals that we share across all of our different solutions. This is good for us, but also for our customers, because we no longer need to wait for a major release before addressing customer needs. So we can push these new versions every 2 months with new developments, with bug fixes, but keep an annual long-term, so an LTS version for our dedicated customers, for our on-premise customers that don't want to move at that new pace, at that speed. It also gives us more agility for unanticipated type product requirements. So requested by customers, but also requirements that maybe come up through new legislation or regulations that appear often out of nowhere towards the end of the year that need to be implemented for the beginning of the next year. So it gives us that sort of flexibility to move things through and to develop things as quickly as possible as well. One of the other advantages of the LiveStore solution is around its extensibility. Extensibility, sort of in a nutshell, just allows our customers and partners to develop add-ons and provide a solution that's specific to your business requirements and integration. So we have a set of extensibility points that we maintain in the solution. Okay, and these are basically user exits during that customer journey, and that allow you to leave the customer journey for a minute, gather extra information, data from outside the customer journey, move into a new application, and come back, and then come back into that customer journey with that new information that we can use as part of that standard solution. And we will, as a statement of direction, continue to provide these extensibility features with a sort of special focus, I suppose, on mobile applications. What does that sort of mean? And I'll sort of talk you through a couple of examples. I'll start on the right-hand side, actually, with the sort of UI type extensions. So this is, in a way, us being able to pick up data from outside the application and display it on the front end. And that may be images, things like that we pick from a PIM or from web. It may be customer data or item data that comes from CRM or from web or from elsewhere. It may be content or videos or photos or that sort of thing that we want to show on the front end. And we can do this through Microsoft Adaptive Cards that gives us real sort of flexibility in terms of the templates and in terms of what we show on the front end. To give you an example of this, you saw earlier when I presented the stock screen, so the item screen, and we displayed some item stocks, so whether that's in store or in another store or a central sort of stock. But it may be that actually this stock is stored in an OMS or in an external system, and it makes more sense for us to call that external system via API to get that stock rather than storing it in Y2. In this case, you can see here we call just a simple adaptive card template, and we can add what we call an access point or an external API in to get that available data. So if I just add in a mock server API, an API path, just to show you what it looks like with a variable, in this case, the product barcode. Now you can see I can add in that barcode and just give it a barcode as well. If I stop the video here, you can see I don't currently have a barcode in the call, and it's just returning me the available stock for the 3 or 4 barcodes that I have on this API. If I add in that product variable, which is here, it's a barcode, you'll see now that the available stock here is showing at 80. So I've made that call to an external API, passed through the product variable, which in this case, the barcode, and received that value from the external system that I can then use on the front end. So I didn't have that stuck. I can use that, and you can see the template's very adaptable, so I can change what I want to show here. I can change the description, the layout, whatever I want, and you can see on the right-hand side here, this is what it might look like in the application itself. So on the front end here, I can have got just a very simple configuration where I show that available stock in one of the info tabs on the item record. And this is just a really quick example of sort of an external API call that we could make. And it's not limited to one call. You could make multiple calls through this adaptive code. So you could have multiple stock calls or multiple other calls to show information here. And I think what's important to mention is that you can see it's all done just via configuration. So there's no code or no custom development here. It's a simple web app that we provide to do this sort of integration and to have that and show that on the front end. The last sort of point I wanted to just quickly mention is around artificial intelligence. So I imagine everyone's talking about artificial intelligence now. It's all spreading around the world, and it has been sort of through 2023, and it's transforming sort of retail, I guess, as we know it. And so at Cegid, we want to be pioneers in the way that we adopt generative AI and artificial intelligence in our solutions. We've already integrated some AI into some of our products, and we've formed a center of expertise for AI to drive that rapid adoption of AI technology across our portfolio. We're working on some enhancements to our solutions using AI. Top secret at the moment, but we've put some examples of what we think the future may hold for retail solutions and for our retail solutions in the future, whether that's assisted search, whether that's guided configuration and learning, product recognition, customer interactions and prompts. There's a whole wealth of things and a very broad scope of things that we could do with AI. So I guess just to watch this space on that one. There will be more news coming soon around our initiatives and what we're doing then in this space. That's everything I wanted to sort of show you today. I don't know if there's anyone had any questions or anything you wanted to ask. I'll leave the questions open. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to take questions now. Can't see any in the chat at the moment, so if you have any, please do drop them in. If not, thank you very much for your time and your participation, and I look forward to seeing you on another webinar in the future. I can't see any questions coming in, so I will end the webinar there. Thank you all for your time, and take care. Thank you.